Okay, grails. I don't know. I mean, the term grail is what it is, isn't it? But I have been saving up, so I'm gonna show you 10 records that, in my opinion, is at least boundary grails. One or two of them is pretty sort of sought after, and when it comes to my own collection, these are finds that I've been looking for quite some time. So this is gonna be awesome. Like I said, 10 records, but first, cue music. You know what to do. It's like every single time. Subscribe, bell, thumbs up. Yeah. And I forgot to say that this is only gonna be psych and prog. Maybe you saw that in the thumbnail or the text, or I don't know where it is. But yeah, it's only gonna be like psych and prog records. So let's get out there with a bang. Like one of my top want list items. I think so anyway. And I don't even know if I like this record or not. If you have stayed with me all these years, you know, back in the day, maybe the first 1 or 2 years, I got a reissue of this, and I talked about it. People are praising this record, and I didn't know what to make of it. I ended up selling the reissue. It was a reissue from 2001. Sounded okay, but it was just like, didn't do it for me. And since I've really been on the hunt for original first press of this record, but without paying too much money. And I sort of like, when everything just fits, you know, that magic moment when you find something for the price that you are willing to pay. I wish it was a US first press. It isn't. It's a UK first press of this iconic record from 1969. This is Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band with Trout Mask replica. As I said, a first UK press in this case, but it's from the year, it's from the time, it's what you sort of got in your face when you bought this in the UK and lowered that tone arm, let the needle hit that groove, and yeah, the rest I guess is history. I'm so glad to have an early copy of this, an original press of this, even if it's a UK one. So the music, I mean, I still don't know if I like this record. I sat down, did nothing other than play both records, first side to the fourth sides, all the way through, really listening, dissecting the music, and absolutely I have a little bit of a deeper understanding to the music now, and the project that he was sort of controlling, summoning. I don't know how to really describe it. If anything, you won't forget this record anytime soon. Is it as avant-garde today as it was when it came out? No, I don't think so. I've listened to a lot more sort of experimental, way out there music. I think that even for Zappa, you even have a evening with Wildman Fisher, which I think is more experimental and avant-garde. This is definitely music. It's not unlistenable, and it is important. I'm super glad to have this in my collection now. Okay, the next one, also one that I've been looking for forever, and I don't know if you can see the sort of the transparency of the record cover. It's hard to make this do this justice, but this is Haze Colored Dia with Haze, one off band. They only released this in Germany back in 1971. This is a second press from 72, a German second press, and it was released on the Bellafon label, Bacillus Records. So a classic sort of same record label that gave us Message of Books and Dreams. This is a heavy record, like really heavy. I shouldn't say like psych, it's more like heavy rock. It's almost spacey as Hawkwind is spacey. And I love that they really go all out. He sings in very good English, but in falsetto almost sometimes. They're not tight. It's really almost garagey in its sound. I think that it's not a very well played record, but it sounds good and strong songs, good performance. It's not the best krautrock record you'll ever hear, but definitely not the worst. Yeah, I'm super happy to have this sort of I don't know if it's called like die cut or transparent sort of, yeah, I don't know. But it's awesome. Okay, the next one is one that I actually didn't have, and this is one of my favorite bands. So finally, I guess, I didn't even have a reissue of this. So when a collecting friend out there, you know who you are, hello. When he contacted me and said that he had found a upgrade copy of this very early press, I didn't hesitate to buy it from him. And we are talking about Monster Movie with Can. This is a UK press from 1971 of this 1969 record. I think it's 1969 anyway. So the German first press is just like impossible to get. So you have to go for the like second German press maybe, or the first UK. So this a second press, still very rare. Sounds great, really good, and it's on the United Artists record label. Music-wise, it's not my favorite Can record. Maybe that's why I have postponed sort of the pursuit of this record. I didn't want the reissue, so getting this a 1971 reissue it's perfect, fantastic. It's what my sort of my wallet can bear right now. This is before Damo Suzuki came in and took over the vocals. So you have Malcolm Mooney on this one, and it's fantastic. A fabulous job by Malcolm Mooney. Really, really awesome. But you know that. Okay, this next one is one that I didn't know existed. I didn't know that I needed this in my life, music-wise and collecting-wise, but I really did. And this has been constantly playing at my house. It's one that I can't really sort of let it go, and the melodies are etched in my, like an earworm, you know. So it's so freaking weird. 1971. This is a Bob Seger record. Like a Bob Seger record. Brand New Morning, 1971. Bob Seger. He was with the, I don't know if they called it, Bob Seger System, I think that they were called, that he debuted in 1969 or something like that. They made 3 records up to 1970, and they ditched him or he ditched them. I don't know the sort of the who did who. So he was kind of broken down, he didn't know what to do, and he recorded this. This is like a solo record, very sort of sparse. I think that he does all the playing himself, almost only piano or acoustic guitar. And I shit you not, every single song is fantastic. It was released on Capitol, this the first US press with the red Capitol label. I have nothing with Bob Seger. I have no sort of will of getting any Bob Seger records. But when I saw this in a guy online, real cool sort of collector, had this in his for sale bin, and I saw the price tag and I was like, shit, is this possible? And I sampled it and my mind was blown. Like from that second I knew that I have to have this record. So do yourself a favor and check this out. Brand New Morning with Bob Seger. He's never done any of the songs live. I don't think so anyway. And he refuses to talk about the record and the songs in interviews and stuff like that because he hates it. And I mean, I don't care for his other music, so I guess that he hates this and I love it. So I don't need to pursue any more Bob Seger records. I'm fine with that one. Who knew? Bob Seger. Okay, I'm gonna do this kind of quick. This is a pretty rare sort of progressive jazz fusion record from Sweden called Pondus with Myrornas frammarsch. One that's been on my want list for very long, because it's a solid sort of fusion record from Sweden. Back in 1979, I think that this was recorded, and it sounds more like 75 or something like that. So one of those sort of records. It's almost privately pressed. It's on this small little label called Coop. They did like 3 records, I think, before they shut down. Yeah, Yonkin is one of them. But yeah, highly recommended. It's, when you see it, it can be pricey, but again, sometimes it's not. So I would urge you to have your eyes open for this one. And if it's on a sort of price level that you're comfortable with, I would pick this up. Very well made. They didn't do anything else but this, and I don't think that any of the players actually went on to do anything more than this, but they are super good, like really good fusion players. I think that this came in the color section of the Richard Morton Jack book, and I know that, or I'm pretty certain at least, that they talk about it in the strip. It's been on my want list for very long, and it's one of those sort of iconic US psych records that, when you read about lists and see sort of great collectors showing off their records, this is always one of them. So I'm getting there, one record at a time, but high up on my want list. Never see it online, so I got this from also from I think a friend online, collecting friend that was getting rid of some records. This is the Tiffany Shade self-titled record, only release that they did. It's from 1967, and this is the first US press on the Mainstream label. The same label, I think, that did Savage Rose, but I can be mistaken. It's very sort of energetic, very garagey. And with garagey, I mean that it sort of feels like you are listening to some kids in a garage playing, and especially with their hearts. Definitely psychedelic leanings also, definitely. And I have played this to death since I got it many months ago now. And there's not a bad second of this record. One of the strongest psych records from 67, 68. And I mean, shit, all the good ones came from that period. But this is definitely up there amongst the absolute best. I'm super happy to have a copy of this now. Yeah, moving forward, I showed you not too long ago, I showed a reissue of Mr. Fox. I think it was a late 70s reissue of that one. And that got me sort of researching different artists and people around Mr. Fox. And I ended up on Caroline Pegg. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Caroline Pegg. She was a singer in Mr. Fox, and she did a great job on that one. So it wasn't gatefold there. It was no surprise that you want to sort of pursue her solo career. I think she did this, maybe one more. 1973 on the famous Transatlantic label, and this is the first UK press of this. You have a young Albert Lee playing guitar on it. And this is as folk as it gets. Like, really, I think that Mr. Fox is a better record than this one, but this is definitely one to check out if you like those sort of female folk vocals, and who doesn't? Okay, so this is another one that I had a hard time picking if this was the best record I have ever heard or the worst one. Not the worst one, but it took many listens to really get into this and really understanding the sort of art of the piece. But now, when I have got it, it's just magic from start to finish. I actually played this today, and it's just a mind melter of a record, and I'm so glad I have this. This is the first US press of the Head Shop self-titled record. They only released this. It's super experimental, extremely psychedelic. It has everything, and it's on the yellow Epic label. I love that. It's such a simple label. When you see this, you know that you're in for a ride. it's hard to describe the music. You have to really experience the music. Just look it up online. Go from start. Like, don't jump ahead. Just go from start and let it just run over you. And I guarantee that if you have any sort of interest in psychedelic music, this will be such a cool ride, and I'm super happy to have this. Like, it's not easy to find, and definitely not in my parts of the world. Solid addition to the psych collection. Okay, the next one, I will need a little bit of help. You guys out there, if you know anything about this, like anything about this, just write down in the comments, because I need some information. I can't find anything online. This is Michael Lugera. I found a promotional copy of this from an online seller. As you can see, it's cluttered with ringware and stuff like that, but it adds, in my opinion, to the sort of the mystique of this, because as I said, I can't really find any information on it. It's on London Records, but they only released this in the US and in Canada, so it's not an English artist. I don't think so anyway, and it was never issued in the UK. This is, in my opinion, it sounds a little bit like a poetic West Coast sort of vibing record. It's hard to describe. It's soulful also for being I shouldn't say it's a folk record. Maybe a little bit like Jackson Browne or something like that. This is 1975, so yeah, I have a hard time describing it, but there's not a single bad song on this. You have Mystic Rider, which is a fantastic song. Slow and Easy, Gunfighter, really good. First side, and then it goes on. Check it out. If you know anything, please let me know. And last but definitely not the least is this one. And it may have one of the worst cover artworks in my collection now. This is Bob Martin, Midwest Farm Disaster, and yeah, you can say that again. This is Bob Martin sitting on a pig, and there's a skeleton holding the pig. I have no idea what they were thinking about. Does it sound like this? Well, no. It's a folk record. It's a country record. It's a little bit of a rocking record. If like the band was rocking, you know that kind of the rocking country bit. And again, not a single bad song on this. There's the second song is called Third War Rag, which is just maybe so. But the other ones are fantastic. Captain Jesus, really good. Old Raz, fantastic. Unfortunately on Flexi disc from 1972, but sounds really good. And it's almost recorded, in my opinion, sound-wise at least, it's recorded like a private press. It's very sort of minimalistic, and I don't know, I don't want to say bad production, because it's not bad production. I think that they are well aware what they are doing, but it feels like the sort of the part of the earth, potatoes and sauce, that sort of thing. It sounds like the cover artwork, it sounds like the countryside. I don't know what, I'm just rambling now, but Midwest Farm Disaster 1972, really good. First US press. So yeah, that's it. I hope you dug those records. I'm super glad that I have them in my collection now, and until next time, have a great day everyone. Bye.